order the August 20th regular meeting of the Batavia Park Board of Commissioners to order at 7 o'clock. Shelley, please call the roll.
Riley.
Here.
Dorsey absent. Tillman.
Here.
Gray. Here. Callahan.
Here. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Any items to be added or changed on the agenda?
Yes, we would like to remove presentations A, listening tour, Jeff Andreessen. Unfortunately, Jeff is sick today, so he'll be back next month.
So we'll just table that till next month?
Perfect.
Very good. Any other changes? Okay. All right, next item.
Any more changes? No?
No, that's it.
Not going to do that. Okay.
We're good. So we'll just table that till next month.
Got it.
All right, so I would entertain a motion to approve the consent, or establish the consent agenda as follows. Approve the meeting minutes of the regular board meeting of July 16th. Approve the meeting minutes of the executive session of July 16th. Approve of the paid expenditures, expense report summary, investment summary, income statement, and purchases.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tillman, second by Gray. Any further discussion? Shall I please call the roll?
Tillman.
Aye.
Gray. Aye. Riley.
Aye.
Dorsey absent. Callahan.
Aye, motion carries. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as established.
So moved.
Motion by Tillman, second by Gray. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, guest matters from the public. Anybody wishing to address the board this evening? Yeah. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for our record, and...
Freddie Martinez at 1162 Chilham Drive in Batavia here. Good evening, board members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come up here and just pitch a small idea that I got. I actually ran into Eric and Allison at the Windmill City Fest earlier this year. Told them I had a crazy idea of helping to fundraise for a splash park here in Batavia. I know we have a little one that's going to be 4. We've taken her to Geneva plenty of times to their free park. I've seen other local residents over there. I'm like, well, why can't Batavia have one? I just started a catering business called Fernando Street Kitchen based out here in Batavia. I had mentioned to Eric and Allison again about volunteering my services to help any fundraising events we can possibly, if you need my services for that, to go towards the splash park, that'd be great. One of the things, though, I'd like to see if we am doing it is making sure it's free and open to the public, where, like the Geneva again, we were able just to park, walk right in, enjoy ourselves for a half hour, 40 minutes, and leave without having to pay an entry fee of $15.
Sure.
I had done a little bit of research. I have a couple other local mom groups in here in town that are excited about the idea. And I've actually done some research for me on some of the pricing. In Edwardsville, Illinois, the community there helped raise between the residents and the local businesses $90,000 to do a splash park with a playground combo. Do we really need another playground too with it? Depending on where the splash park is, we may not. And that'll save about $30,000 to $40,000 in costs as well. I know last year I've helped with the Bulldogs Unleashed event that was held here in Batavia. Again, I did food and drinks for their event. So my services are definitely available for the fundraising event of the splash park here within the town.
Well, we appreciate your interest in coming out to the board to talk a little about what's important to you, and also offering to assist us in fundraising. We think it's a great idea. As a board, we've talked about the splash parks in our inventory, but we really haven't gotten to a point where we've decided where one might be appropriate. So, how would you like to proceed?
Actually, I was thinking that this would be a great marriage potentially with the Parks Foundation, with the fundraising concept and
similar to the
identifying as a project.
SpaceNet.
Yeah,
similar to the SpaceNet project.
We've the Parks Foundation has actually adopted projects like the SpaceNet at Engstrom Park, which is the perfect type of fundraiser and marriage between the Park District and Parks Foundation for any kind of equipment within a park, or in this case it'd be infrastructure plus materials. But
again, whenever you guys want to get something together, definitely available here in and willing to work with it.
Great.
Let's do whatever we have to do to get it done.
Appreciate you coming out, Freddie. Thanks so
very
much.
Thanks, Ray.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you. Thanks for talking to us too.
So Freddie, on these other splash parks that you've observed,
Yes, sir.
and in your mind, what size of splash park did you have in mind that would?
Again, having gone to the one in Geneva off of East Side Drive, I can't remember what the name of the park is there. It's a decent-sized park.
I mean, as large as this open area here?
Splash pad, I would say probably about as big as this room, maybe a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Because of the shape that they do, usually do an odd shape, playground or pad itself.
Right. All right.
But yeah, I said, I know we had mentioned something about maybe even doing it at the quarry. They might have more space out there. My concern with that is having people to pay a fee to go.
Right.
If we keep it open to the public where people can come and go, I was just talking to a client of mine, I'm like, we went to Geneva, again, splash park there, and instead of coming back to eat lunch here, we unfortunately had lunch in Geneva. So, again, having something that could actually draw other residents from other towns into Batavia and supporting other local businesses, I think is the main reason that I'm thinking, let's do it. If I have to, do 3 events next year and donate all my services for it, then, so be it. But it's something that, I've grown up here in Batavia and I've seen the community come together and do things like that. And there's an opportunity for me to step in and help and do my part.
Great idea. Jim, Eric, have you guys seen or worked with these before? I mean, is it the kind of thing where we have the infrastructure in some of our parks to put this in, or is that an additional cost?
Oh, yeah, it would be additional to run the water in. There are 2 types of splash parks. One's a water to waste, and one is a recirculating.
Okay.
It has been we have been told by the city that they would require us to do the recirculating, which now also requires changing rooms, restrooms. It's a little pool. It becomes a little pool, and they just changed these Illinois Department of Health rules within the last couple of years. So if there was a way to help get the city to understand that this is really, yes, it is water to waste, but it's no worse than watering a lawn. And it does depend. We had one that was about 2,500 square feet in the original master plan for Angstrom, and still could fit there. Right. But there are other places in town.
Cool.
Yeah, now that's what matters here too, the infrastructure. I mean, if there's a park already that may have that infrastructure, may.
Yeah.
Of course, I'd like to be at the park right down the street from my house.
The premium for that,
If you could have a food truck, just right.
Well, we could certainly ask some of our peers, in the industry, and I know talking to some of the guys I interact with, if they restrict the amount of use during peak times or whatever, then the water might not be an issue.
Right.
It's about the conservation of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So we just have to invest.
There's a lot of ways.
And we could work with the city staff too to see what,
Absolutely.
have a refreshed conversation with them.
We've done both types. We have the recirc. We did a recirc that's Northview Park in Lamont, and we're doing a recirc down in Midlothian. Midlothian is a big one. It's a 3-pad splash park. So,
Well, I love the idea, but I'd just like to get some information as to what it is that we're looking at, just so we can have a better gauge, especially if we're going to try to work with the Parks Foundation on this. I mean, I think we'd want all the information we can get, right?
Kind of talked about that, a couple times at the meeting, but obviously need to get some more information, and I don't think I'm the one to speak on that.
That's all right.
Yeah.
But I do think, staff and I have talked about this many times, that Angstrom does seem like the most appropriate
Right.
place. And the fact that, we actually had it drawn in at one point for our plans at Angstrom. But we can certainly follow up with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And if you guys need anything else from me or the groups that have been, said they're the ones who volunteered and helped during the research for me too, and get any more information or whatever.
Great.
Reach out to us.
thanks, Freddie.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming out.
Thank you. Thanks, Freddie.
Thanks for coming out.
Anyone else? All right. Next item on agenda, number 7, matters from the commissioners. Anybody wishing to make any statements tonight?
Yeah, the new tennis courts at Big Woods look awesome.
Yes, they do. Thank you.
They're bright blue and
I say
beautiful.
thank you.
And the
Sorry.
pickleball lines, I want to learn to play pickleball now. Kevin, you
gotta come over.
It looks great though.
Stop here on Tuesdays or Thursdays. You can learn, and then go out to your court.
Got a lot of counties.
The Civic Center Gymnasium.
Seems like a lot of work for you.
Yeah, just rather,
Yeah.
my 7th grader will teach me. So it looks great. Good job.
Good, thanks.
Anything else? All right, moving on. Parks Foundation.
Want me up there?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much for having us. Nice to see you at the table. I appreciate it. My name is Ed Ball. It's the first time I've been here. 2 announcements. Number 1, obviously there's not a huge project this year, so we decided to identify some things we can do to contribute to the community in different ways. So what we decided was, I'm not sure if we want to call it a dirt project, a field play project, but Angstrom Field, we are going to put in 2 tons. I want to make sure I get this right. Okay, so we're going to put 2 tons, 2 truckloads of field clay from Central Illinois. It's the same material that the high school uses. And with the crazy spring that we had this year with the weather, they literally had 1 game that was canceled, and that was only because of lightning the day of the game. Okay, so the field, it's unbelievable. So the project is also going to entail, they're going to cut an edge and remove a foot of the turf flips, which is $600, and it's $2,400 per load. So the total project is $5,400. Okay, so that's been approved. That will start about a week and a half that they'll put it in. It's probably a 1-day project. And then I'd like to make an announcement. We are having a casino night at the East Side Community Center fundraiser, and that will be 7 to 10 on October 26th. Okay? And it is going to be an 80s theme. Yes, I'm showing you the age, and I'm so excited about it. It's not like you don't have to dress up to come, but it is an 80s themed casino night. It's $70 per person, which is heavy apps and a train ticket. Okay? So we'll get a bunch of marketing pieces out about that. Any questions, feel free to ask me. If I don't know the answer, I'll direct you. That's all I have.
Awesome. Thanks, Ed.
Great.
Thank you.
So October
26th, Saturday, October 26th, 7 to 10 p.m.
Awesome.
That's at Shannon Hall, correct?
I'm so sorry, yes.
Awesome.
It is, Shannon Hall.
Great.
Terrific.
All right.
Okay, next item on the agenda, Fox Valley Special Rec. Any updates for Fox Valley?
Actually, none since we last met.
Okay, great. Well, that was a nice presentation. So. All right, so next item is correspondence, and we have 1 item of correspondence, a letter of appreciation from the Batavia Foundation for Educational Excellence, Batavia Parks Foundation, the Batavia Library Foundation for the Park District's assistance with the Bulldogs Unleashed programs. So put that on file. And next item is announcements. Katie, it's
Thank you
all
so
yours.
much. So summer is winding down, and so is your opportunity to check out our paddle boats on the Fox River. Paddle boating is a great way to spend time with your family or just some maybe a special date night. And you can also find a special $2 off coupon in our fall fun guide. But just a friendly reminder that the paddle boats are only available on the weekends now and just through September 2nd from 1 to 6 p.m. And if you're looking for a fun and safe way for your tween to hang out with friends or meet some new ones, you can look no further than the upcoming Tween Night on September 13th at 6 p.m. at the East Side Community Center. You can enjoy games, sports, music, movies, dancing, food, and much more. Admission is just $5, and concessions are available for an additional fee. But we do ask now that you do advance registration, so that's something that has changed just a bit. And we are hosting a new competitive and educational special event this year, the Batavia Road Rally, on September 14th. You may remember we were offering it this past spring, but it was rescheduled due to a snowstorm in April of all things. But Batavia is the oldest city in King County, and with all that history comes a lot of opportunity. We're inviting you to compete against your fellow Batavians with a series of hints, clues, and activities. You can earn points along the route as you test your knowledge of Batavia history and your navigation skills of the city. The event fee is charged per team, and it's actually just $10. So the rally check-in is at 1:30 p.m. and pre-registration is requested by September 12th. So we hope you can join us for this epic excursion of Batavia. Maybe you'll just be crowned our next winner. And also, you may have heard, but we've made some exciting updates to our East Side Community Center, such as a new parking lot, a new certified commercial kitchen, as well as a playground. The facility reopens officially, as we're planning on it, as September 3rd, but we invite you to join us for a special playground dedication event on Saturday, September 14th at 4:30 p.m. right after our road rally. The festivities will include a ribbon cutting, giveaways, games, and refreshments, and it's all happening at the East Side Community Center. And last but not least, we ask you to save the date for our upcoming Mom and Son Wagon Rides on September 19th and 26th. This popular event features pumpkin decorating, dinner, wagon rides, campfire time, s'mores, and much more. It happens out at West Main Community Park from 6 to 8 p.m. But this is one of our most popular events, so we invite you to sign up as soon as possible. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always visit our website at bataviaparks.org or give us a call at 630-879-5235. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is staff reports. So we'll start with any updates from staff.
I have more later. I'll pass it to.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Museum.
We're going to talk about, yes, on Wednesday, yes, tomorrow, at somewhere between 12:45 and 1:30, Congresswoman Lauren Underwood will be stopping by the depot to take a quick tour with us. The folks on the Batavia Historical Society have set this up for her to just come and see what wonderful things we have and hopefully get interested in our expansion project. So we're keeping our fingers crossed, but it'll still be a lot of fun to meet her and show her through the depot.
Awesome.
So our budget season is well underway. Staff submitted their initial budget request at the end of last week. Allison and I are going to review those with department heads beginning next week, and we'll be working on compiling, a good, strong operating budget for the district, one that helps support our capital program, among other things. I was able to compute the tax levy based on prior year figures in the CPI index, and we actually had our 2020 CDP kickoff meeting last week as well with Jim, Eric, Allison, Brittany, and myself. So that's a big project, but it's moving along well. One final thing I'd like to add is we got the final tally of our beer sales at Windmill City Fest, and we broke $52,000 this year, so a little bit higher than last year.
Thirsty crowd.
Well, I'm sure the warm weather helped, but despite the challenges we had Sunday with the storm rolling through, it was a good year. So great job to everybody.
That's great.
Well, after some time, the Parks Department is up to full force with our full-time employees. We just the day before yesterday, we had our third of 3 new employees show up. Kudos to both Kim Hansen and Josh Wyatt for doing the excellent job in interviews, because we had some really fine employees to help us out with. So they came at a good time, as all of our college kids except for one have left. So we're scrambling, but it's nice to see everybody there, and we're really excited. So
great.
Do you have any questions?
Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. We had our chili cook-off at the end of July, so that was on July 27th. So marketing and rec were there at that event. We sold 231 spoons at the chili cook-off. We had over 300 people in attendance, and the Park District got 3rd place with our chili, so we bumped up from last year. So we were excited.
Almost last year.
So we were very excited about that 3rd place. The school district actually won 1st place again for the chili. So next year we'll get them.
We're gonna take them down.
Yeah. Can't believe summer's already over, but we're getting very busy. So this weekend on Saturday, we're having a cook-off, or a kickoff but we are having a cook-off too. We are cooking hot dogs for BYF on Saturday. So Nathaniel and I will be there. So getting ready, they're gonna be meeting the varsity team and meeting their coaches and stuff like that on Saturday. And then we invite you guys on September 18th to our Senior Citizens Club 50th anniversary at Riverview. So if you guys would like to attend, please let Robin or I know. Thank you.
Actually, Lisa from the school district said she was going to give us her chili recipe, so I thought that was pretty dangerous. And I was like, really? All right.
I can help you out.
Yeah? All right. Okay.
In the kitchen. You can use it.
Yeah, there you go. So on July 26th, Sarah Hager, our summer marketing intern, ended her summer internship with us, and hopefully you've gotten a chance to read her internship essay that she wrote for us, but she just did a really amazing job. She was actually a Batavia High School graduate. And I love this internship that we offer. I think it's a really great way to mentor some young professional in our field of parks and recreation, particularly in marketing. So, so we were really honored to have her with us this summer, and we're going to miss her. So, marketing staff also met with our fun guide brochure graphic designer. We kind of reviewed how this past year went and then put our plans together for the 2020 series. And so we're excited. In November, we'll be releasing our new theme for 2020, which will be kind of puzzle themed. And we've got some fun activities that will be featured in our fun guide series for the public to participate in. And then also, something that I found out actually just today, myself as well as Mike Turson from the Buffalo Grove Park District are going to be speaking at the January conference, at the Soaring to New Heights conference. We'll be doing a presentation on marketing best practices for non-marketers, and so we're going to be talking about bridging the gap between marketing and recreation departments. So I'll definitely be tapping into Brittany's mind too, and how we can help educate our fellow agencies on how to kind of have better communication between departments. And so I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Can we come and watch you?
If you want to.
And trust me, they will. Anytime I speak, they will show up.
Experience that. Kind of ramps up.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, I don't see you.
Oh, I can't believe they should have.
Pat was close to the front row for me when.
It was moral support.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
Popcorn,
I welcome it if you guys would like to come. So.
Thank you.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is Executive Director's Report.
All right. Lights, camera, action. It's my second day without crutches, so I'm just walking very carefully here, not to jinx anything.
Doing well.
Thank you. So far, so good. I've taken
You're
3
upright.
steps. All right. Oh, you know what? Turning it on always helps. There we go. So we just wrapped up the Hall Quarry Beach season. We had the highest number of ticket sales to date. Here you'll see the beautiful quarry mural that was kind of contrived by the marketing department, and Joshua Schultz, who also designed our Chuck the Duck Bulldog from Bulldogs Unleashed. So this mural actually served as a photo background for people throughout the season at the quarry. And so it was great because, throughout Facebook posts, we would see it in the background. And we have plans to potentially do more merchandise with this as well, with t-shirts, and kind of expand this look. As Commissioner Gray said, we're talking about vibrancy here. We're looking at the tennis courts and pickleball courts at Big Woods Park. So these were the first players on it, so they were quick to it. We do have the pickleball lines, so that way people can try it on for size. We do plan on bringing some sort of instruction for pickleball. We have it indoors right now at the Civic Center, but we do plan on expanding our program outdoors as well. And while we're at Big Woods Park, we're going to take a tour over here to the basketball court. And again, we've seen this court with nonstop action, so it just justifies everything we've done to improve the amenities there. And what's really neat here, you'll see all ages. And this is just a natural picture. This was not a set up at all. But you'll see the big kids letting the little kids play, and it makes it all worthwhile. This is why we do what we do. Now, this doesn't look like a pretty picture, but this is actually progress, a work in progress. This is our Eastside Community Center, and these are the window frames that are going into the preschool rooms right now. So actually, the top will be a colored panel, one of the colors of our logo, and the new windows will be installed next week. And now we're looking at the top of the Eastside Community Center. This is the membrane of the roof that's being laid out. So we're having 2 HVAC units also installed. And
the entire Eastside Center complex is going to have the new roofing between Shannon Hall, the ERO building, and Eastside Community Center. So we won't have any problems with leaking anymore. You won't have buckets sitting around with gymnasiums. Yes, everything is going to be in tip-top shape. Now we're going inside the Eastside Community Center. We're looking at the caterer's kitchen. As noted, we are making a commercial-grade kitchen out of the caterer's kitchen. And so we gutted out up in the left-hand corner 2 closets to make extra room for gray water storage, freezer space. And so here's a little before and after, just a little sneak peek. We don't want to show you too much. We want you to experience it when it's done. The Eastside Community Center will be open to the public September 3rd. And as Katie mentioned, we are excited to show you the entire plan on September 14th at 4:30 p.m. to invite the public to the grand opening and playground dedication. We're also going to do 2 memorial tree dedications to 2 preschool teachers that passed too early in life. So Courtney Aroni and Maureen McMullen. And we are also going to give a tribute to one of the police officers who so dearly helped our little ones, our little preschoolers across the street for 2 months during the parking lot expansion project. So much thanks to our friends at the city who helped us every step along the way with permitting, and it's just been a smooth sailing process. So we can't wait to get everybody over there and experience it. And as we mentioned, the casino night will be over at Shannon Hall, as well as Pachakacha. So Pachakacha is Japanese storytelling, and the Batavia Public Library is partnering with the Batavia Park District to offer Pachakacha, which is 20, help me out.
Yeah, it's 6 minutes and
20 seconds.
Yeah.
With 20 slides for 6 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah.
and there is alcohol at this event. It comes with your ticket. And it's going to be a great time Thursday, October 24th. And I invite everyone here to attend. It should be a great time. Tonight, we're going to hear from 2 of our consultants that we've recently hired for the comprehensive master plan. The master plan is 3-pronged. It's recreation, parks and facilities, and marketing and technology. So we're really excited. We just had our kickoff meeting, and you're going to hear more about it tonight. And as Mr. Eby mentioned, Lauren Underwood will be at the Depot Museum tomorrow, and we will discuss grant opportunities for projects that might be shovel-ready, such as maybe the relocation of the Coffin Bank caboose and water tower. And something that came out of our listening tour, we had
Good old
Mr.
George.
George Sloan show up to our listening tour. We have community engagement sessions throughout the summer, and George was interested in bringing Coob to Batavia.
Not just Coop Champion.
The Coob Championship, that's right. So much thanks to the Parks Department, Eric Locker, for making it happen, and Katie Drum for promoting it. But Saturday, August 31st, beginning at 8 a.m., will be the Illinois State Coob Championship. And Coob is described as a Vikings chess, where you have wooden batons that you could throw, and you try to knock other batons over. So I encourage you, if you're interested, to go check it out, Engstrom Park. And that's it.
Awesome. So next item on the agenda is presentations. So we're going to start with Parks and Rec Comp Plan. Steve, you want to?
Does he have slides? There we go. He does have slides.
All right, thanks for making time to meet tonight. I'm Steve Connors with Hitchcock Design Group. And so for those who don't know us, we're a landscape architecture and land planning company. Our primary office is located out of Naperville, but I'm here to talk to you a little bit tonight, just give you a little bit of a quick overview, a little bit more about us and our experience with comprehensive master planning and how that kind of fits into what we're helping sustain the Park District here with. And talk about the team, as well as we're going to talk about the process that we're going to take you through, including the schedule. So with that, so I've been with Hitchcock Design Group for about 20 years now. Graduated U of I out of the landscape architecture program. Actually started my career as a staff landscape architect under Keith Franklin and Mike Adams with the Woodridge Park District. So I've been on the public side of the table as well before joining us from the private consultant side. But ever since joining Hitchcock back in 2000, I've been strictly working on Parks and Recreation, and I'm now the leader of our Parks and Recreation group. And that's the group you see up on the screen. So we're a group of 9 people in our company of about 30 people. And so myself and Jenna down there at the bottom, we're going to be your key players, your key team members for this, as well as Bill Inman, who is our CEO of Hitchcock Design Group. And we've got the rest of the players that we've got there as sort of our support team for anything that we might need assistance on along the way. But so Rick Hitchcock, who's still with the company, founded us back in 1980, so we're coming up on 40 years here. We do have a few other offices, other practice areas, like healthcare, urban design, those elements. But our group, our of 9, strictly focuses on Parks and Rec, and 175 public clients. So that's really, we like to say our DNA is in the public sector. So we're mostly doing work with municipalities, park districts, departments, those kind of items. So we understand your world pretty darn well. We've done over 40 comprehensive plans over the past couple of decades, mostly within the Chicagoland region and the suburbs, but we do some work in the Midwest, and ever from time to time, it does take us out to places like we've been to Florida, North Dakota, Urbandale, Iowa, a few other places as well. And we also are very experienced in helping bring grants to you. So we hope as part of us taking you through this process, we can continue to help identify where you might have grant opportunities to implement anything that might come out of your comprehensive master planning process here. So our process is 4 phases here. So analyze, which we've already kicked this off. We've already sort of started with a staff workshop, and we're going to be doing some park and facility tours with Jim and his crew in the coming weeks. But the analyze phase, we're going to talk about that. The envision phase is where we sort of start to think about the ideas, and we'll talk about how it's going to be integrated, an integrated approach with the rest of your consultant team that you put together. From there, we'll move into sort of prioritization of what those ideas might be and basically create an action plan. So I'm going to take you through these 4 phases briefly here. So the analyze phase is us getting smarter about your community, collecting the kind of data that you guys have, past plans that you've had, data on your facilities, data on your parks, as well as data from all the other consultant team members, some GIS mapping, which I'll show you a couple examples there. We're going to do a detailed inventory of all your parks and facilities, give you an updated map, and look at level of service and benchmarking for those parks and facilities against regular standards. Staff workshop, like I said, we've already conducted that. We will be coming back before you guys later in the process to do a more detailed board workshop, give you the opportunity to kind of weigh in on what your concerns and ideas and vision are for your comprehensive master planning. And of course, we're going to integrate all the other data that we get from the remainder of the team. So talking about that, as we're getting smart about you guys, we'll be looking at different types of demographics. These are not your demographics, just as an example of what we dive into here. And we know that Recreation Consulting has also been doing some of this as from their program assessment. Well, not just looking at your population, but looking at how it's projected, looking about the makeup of it, sort of the diversity that you might have and what that might mean to you, not just in ethnicity, but also age and financial income. Doing the mapping we talked about, a detailed map of where all your parks and facilities are, that'll be the basis for a lot of our benchmarking about location, level of service, distribution, walking access, accessibility, all those kind of elements there. And we're going to break down into the types of parks you have. So we're going to say, do you have good coverage for mini parks, neighborhood community parks? Where might your gaps be? And being a landlocked community, how much you fill those gaps? What might be some of the strategies for that as well? Of course, we'll do a detailed inventory. So as we're working with Jim and Eric and their crews, we'll be looking at all your parks and facilities, updating what you've got, understanding what the ages are, and helping you create a more detailed inventory to help you prioritize what might need to get addressed in the next 7 to 10 years. And we'll be doing the same with your indoor facilities, looking at what kind of indoor space you have, where your service gaps might even be with your indoor space. And then we'll be looking at, again, state and national standards. Now, this is always just a benchmark. It doesn't mean that, so if you might be under somewhere or over somewhere, it doesn't mean you have a surplus or a deficit necessarily. Depends on really the need of your specific community, but it's a starting point for conversation and discussion. And of course, workshops. So while we can bring our planning expertise and the rest of the planning team can bring their aspects to it, really we need to make sure that we're taking the most advantage that we can of the institutional knowledge here, not just at the board level, but definitely at the staff level, and understanding all those issues there. And then finally, at the end of the analyze phase, we'll make sure we're integrating all the data that we get, everything that Acuity Research and Insight has done through the needs assessment and the listening sessions, make sure we're understanding that information, as well as Scott and his group and what they come up with the marketing technology needs, and then Bobby Nance is looking at the program assessment. So really, we'll sort of help put that under one umbrella and really talk about how all those things can be represented in your 7 to 10-year plan going forward. So that's the analyze phase, which is the longest phase of the whole thing. About a month it'll probably take us there. And vision phase is actually sort of where the rubber hits the road, and we start to talk about, okay, so what's the vision for the next 7 to 10 years from everything we've learned? And so that's when we'll be coming back to you guys. At the end of the analyze phase, we'll present all the data that we've had to date, and then we'll have a workshop with you so that we can talk about what does this data mean and how does it represent what your needs might be in those next 7 to 10 years and what the strategies are for parks and facilities. Through that process, we'll be refining the strategies. Like I said, this is not a consultant-driven plan. This is a community and park district-driven plan. And so we are primarily going to be facilitators in some of these ideas, making sure that we're bringing key staff and yourself and other stakeholders into this process to come up with what the plan really is. With that, the final thing is the assembly of that, which is developing that action plan. So it's not just a set of needs with a set of ideas on how you accomplish those needs, but it's a guide, it's a map on how do we do that. And so we're going to look across the next 7 to 10 years with you guys and identify what are you doing for parks, what are you doing for facilities, what are you doing for programs in the next year, the next 3 years, the next 7 years, and specifically what steps have to occur to meet each of those items. So we're going to talk about introducing new programs, doing master plan for facilities, doing fundraising for park development. All the things that we've also heard some people speak to tonight will sort of be represented in that timeline with detailed narratives that explain what those items are and what you need to accomplish them. And with that, at the very end, we'll kind of assemble that into a final booklet and a report. Again, it'll be basically integrating all the consultants' reports. So while everyone will have individual reports, we'll make sure that we'll have that into one thing. I just brought a couple examples of some ones we've done in the past. And Allison, I could leave these behind, just pick them up from you another day if you want to take a little more time to look at them.
Thank you.
But so in the end, we'll make sure that we're assembling everything in one large booklet for you, working with the rest of the consultant team to make sure that it's fully inclusive of all the work that's done to date. So with that, just if you've got any questions for me.
When would you complete the plan?
We're looking at roughly November. Each phase is roughly going to take about 4 weeks. So we've already started the kickoff meeting. We've had a kickoff meeting and staff workshop that I talked about. We'll be doing the park and facility visits in the next coming weeks. So really the analyze phase will take us from August into September. Toward the end of September, we would start the vision phase. That would take us into October. And then that prioritizing and implementing would really be October to November. So then we would expect that December might really be more about just creating the final booklet, but most of the work should really be done by Thanksgiving.
Will it include a soft copy other than just this booklet, or is the booklet the only way that the report comes?
It'll be a digital copy, and there will be an executive summary. So we'll make sure that we're creating the booklet, we're helping to create an executive summary so that you can basically have something that's a little bit shorter to share with, whether it's with the public or other stakeholders, that kind of gets to the the overview of what you're trying to accomplish in the next 7 to 10 years without all the data necessarily behind it if you want to distribute something shorter and smaller.
So just nothing detailed, but have you been to any of our parks yet? Have you looked at any of them?
I've been to a few just because we work in the area. We did St. Charles Plan not too long ago. We've been doing a lot of work in Geneva, and actually I've traveled through the area a lot for other things that we do. In my personal life, I've been through the community a lot.
So just so I just have an idea. So you would take a look at one of our existing parks, let's say, and then look at the needs assessment and then what your experience is, and you would say, okay, based on the way this park looks now, Batavia Park District is missing the boat on, or we could add this, or we could add that to make it more user-friendly? Is that the idea?
Right, and really we're going to come at it from sort of two different vantage points. One, we are going to look at a little bit of the nuts and bolts, you know, of your parks and your facilities and give you some comments and some thoughts on that. But really what our understanding is that what you want to get out of the 7-10-year plan are sort of the bigger vision and the bigger ideas. And so that's what we're going to try to help bring to the table. I mean, for instance, even the talk about the splash pad and where that might go and what that might mean. I mean, that's the exact type of topic that will be part of the discussions in something like a comprehensive planning process.
Okay, anyone else? Thanks, Steve, appreciate you coming out tonight.
Thank you very much. See you Friday.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Scott Salvati. I know most of you. I own Lighthouse Marketing Services. I have Crystal here with me tonight. She's my project lead. Sue Kirchner, who is our brand strategist, couldn't be here tonight, but she'll be part of this as well. Some of you might know me from other aspects. I am an alderman here in town, and luckily I get to miss a meeting tonight for this, which is fantastic. Thank you.
It's on tape, you know.
What's that?
It's on tape.
That's okay. Actually, works on tape.
Okay.
And I coached lacrosse here in town for the high school for 8 years, so very familiar with the community. I've been actively involved, and actually this is kind of a cool opportunity for us to be able to help you guys. So talk a little bit about who we are. So we're a full stack marketing firm. That's a little bit of a different phrase, but what that means is we do a lot of things within the marketing sphere, from strategy to research to design, execution, fulfillment, all of that sort of thing. A couple of things, some of the things we do: story and strategy, corporate communication, brand development, extension. Most everything falls out of those three things. And for what we're doing here, we'll be doing a lot of research for you guys, which we're excited about. Some more things that we do: strategy, some brand development management. So there's some logos you might be familiar that we helped redesign. Collateral and packaging. Go back to that. So we did Bataviapoly, which if some of you had fun playing that, hopefully. Web developments, content development and social media management, marketing automation, which may be something that we'll explore as we get through this. Website analytics, which also includes position tracking, brand monitoring, social media analytics, and that's pretty much it. So the question is, how are we going to help you folks? We have three phases where we're going to engage with you. The first one is going to be research and analysis and benchmarking. And first, part of what we're trying to do through this whole thing is we're trying to answer a lot of questions, but also help kind of bring some strategy to your next 5 to 7 years for your master plan. So some of the questions that that we're going to be asking or hopefully answering is: how are your facilities and programs perceived? Are you maximizing the most out of the partnerships that you have? And what new partners can you engage with? How do you match the digital experience with getting people outside? Pickleball, I'm excited about that. Actually, I've never played it. I've seen it. I've got a buddy who's like a grand master champion down in Florida, so it looks fun, and it's right near me, so I'm going to check that out. Are you communicating effectively and efficiently across all your available platforms? Where can you innovate? What do you market? How do you market diversity within the community? What green initiatives can you align yourselves to? How is the fun guide used? Is it sticky? Is it easy to use? Is it something that needs to be digital? How is your social signaling? Is it effective? The tools you're using internally aligned to allow you to be most efficient. So we're going to walk through a lot of this stuff. Here's phase one. So that includes kind of a kickoff and an audit and research. I didn't give you the details in it, but that includes really understanding your communication and marketing goals and objectives for your next 5 to 7 years, which will be followed by an audit. That'll include your website, its usability, the messaging, and are you missing critical customer experience features? Or do you have some that are there that are fantastic? Social media channels, the messaging there, your engagement, your visuals, e-newsletter formats, the analysis of open rates, clickable contents, and design. Messaging, relevancy, consistency, your brand, and your tone of voice. And the marketing tactics, how best you can get your message in front of your stakeholders. Print materials, programs, postcards, flyers, all that stuff. Your partnerships, as I mentioned before, identify and recognizing new strategic partnerships to pursue, and best practices, and marketing communications from nearby park districts and samplings from around the country. So phase 2 will be the brand strategy developments. That will be, we'll talk about unique value, target market personas, and 3 to 5 key brand messages. So we'll be working with Hitchcock and the other statistical company to be able to try and get some of the data out of them to look at this. So the unique value is we're going to be using the input from your team and recent surveys and focus group data to hone in kind of unique value statements that clearly explains the promise of excellence that you make to all of your stakeholders in town. For target market personas, we'll further identify the needs and wants of each of the target market segments. In order to craft messaging that resonates with each group, we'll need to understand that not just the demographic data, but also what role the park district plays or groups play in their lives. Taking the time to create these distinct target market personas for all the audience you serve or interact with will make the messaging and marketing plan that much more effective. And so parts of that will include who they are, what are their demographics and psychographics, why they use the park district, what sorts of things do they use, what sort of things do they want to see, how they want to receive communications and how often. So 3 to 5 key brand messages, these will communicate the value of the park district of all its services and facilities. So this will include messaging, translation of different target segments based on their life stages, or other qualifying segmentation needs, and messaging to be used when working with local businesses or other strategic partners to explain the value of working with you. And finally, phase 3, the communication strategy. So this is where we're going to add to the larger master plan. So this will include a communication marketing strategy, digital marketing strategy, and a communication stack recommendations. So that final communication strategy will be submitted to the plan, and it'll include the digital marketing, which will outline the website, social media, newsletter initiatives, and including what to communicate, which includes content and calls to action. How often, which channels, and who's responsible. And then finally, the communication stack recommendations. We'll audit those components that you currently make up your communication stack and make recommendations to how to align these most effectively. So these can include kind of your website platform and integrations. And I know that you guys are already about to launch 3.0, whatever, but we'll see what can integrate within that. Email platforms, mail services, whether you're using Constant Contact, MailChimp, versus a marketing automation tool, which will maybe provide you a little bit more in-depth analytics in terms of who's engaging with you and what they're engaging with. As you send out emails, as opposed to how many opens you get to a page, you can see who's going through to your pages, which is incredibly powerful data to be able to write. And then finally, internal project management tools. This is something that's near and dear to me. Project management is a big thing. It's something you guys do a lot of. Whether it's using Basecamp or Teamwork or Asana or whatever, there's a number of different tools out there that you can integrate in that are really super cost effective and can keep the staff in alignment as things are going forward. So, all these deliverables, I believe it's about 12 to 16 weeks, so we're right in line with how where we're going. We'll probably kind of flex as we need to as things go through, whether speed things up or slow things down, just to make sure that we are working kind of in step with Hitchcock and everybody else. So that's kind of the 30,000 foot view of what we're doing. I'm excited about it. I think thanks for the opportunity. I think it's kind of cool that you're breaking this down into the different segments. But do you guys have any questions for me?
Did you say in phase 2 that you were going to look at why people like our programming?
Yeah.
So will you be able to determine why they go someplace else?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm sure you have some of that data already, but this will be a little bit redundant, I'm sure, but we will look into that. And we'll be asking those questions.
And Scott's going to look at our program evaluations too to see, if we should be asking different questions than what we currently are to get more results. Perfect.
The responses and the questions? The responses to.
So you're looking at a January, February wrap-up-ish?
No, we'll be looking to be right with them. I mean, we want that report to be done by December. So we'll be working to get that done.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Scott.
Okay, guys, appreciate it.
coming out.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is old business capital development progress report.
Old business from an old guy.
Old business. Allison gave you a real good overview of many of the things that we've been wrapping up. The playgrounds at the Eastside Center, as well as Jones Meadow and Memorial. Our Eastside Center renovation has progressed. It's amazing how fast the time has gone. They have about 2 weeks left till they are to be completely done. The kitchen equipment all comes in tomorrow, and it's going to be set into place and then commissioned. That's a new term that I've heard but not used in that sense. So they have to commission the equipment. We're looking at our inspection by our Kane County Health Department on the 29th of the month, and fingers crossed, flying colors, and we will be able to open for the public. We are meeting with cleaning people tomorrow to begin talking about how it has to be cleaned and things that we aren't really aware of yet to know how. I mean, it's going to be a different kind of animal for us, so we really got to get some new procedures and processes put into place. Big Woods is as well. We saw done. Literally, Josh and I put the center straps on those tennis nets, and those kids walked in the gate and said, "Hey, can we play?" You bet, go for it. So it was a lot of fun. And I think the last thing I want to tell you, the Woodland Hills Stream Bank Restoration Project, which kind of languished for quite a while this summer, has now gone full bore. They've taken trees down. They are grading the stream bank, getting ready to put into place the best management practice stuff and the armoring of the shoreline of the creek bed. And we got a really nice note from Allison and I did today from Andrea Pedraza, the lead engineer on the project from the city, from a resident in that area, thanking them and us for all the work that we're doing, that it looks so much nicer, and it would be wonderful to have that taken care of. So
awesome.
So thank you to the park board for agreeing to go 50-50 on that with the city.
It's really nice when the residents notice.
Yeah,
Definitely.
All right. Thanks, Jim. Next on the agenda is 16A, approval of the accessibility consulting services for updating the Batavia Park's ADA transition plan. So before us tonight, we have the proposal from ACT Services, Inc. So I entertain a motion to approve the agreement with ACT Services, Inc. in the amount of $44,025 for updating the Batavia Park District's ADA transition plan as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tillman, second by Gray. So I do have a couple of questions. How is this different than what we previously did? What will they be doing?
It will be an update, a full-blown update to our transition plan that was done in 2010. According to distinguished agents criteria, we have to go back and renew this every 5 years. We did the building facility portion in 2015. He went through all of our buildings. This Mark Treglaff is the owner of this company. Mark went through and did all of that, and we have used that then to work through the the new washroom at the lodge, the washrooms at the lodge, got those redone. Quite a number of other interior things that we have done in some of the buildings to help make them more accessible. This will note all of those things and then, I guess, reestablish others that we have to do or choose not to do because potentially there's just too expensive in some
So
cases.
how much, so I guess my real question is, first of all, this is a different company that did the first plan.
Correct.
Okay. Number two is, of the plan that they're updating, if we took it upon ourselves to do a project where we incorporated the initial recommendations, it will reflect in the new plan.
Yes. Go ahead.
Where the original plan identified deficiencies in parks that are still deficiencies, that will remain.
Where, if he finds a deficiency in parks that are still there, it's because we haven't got to them to do the renovations of them.
Sure.
As we've moved through with our playground program, we also then go back to the ADA plan and take all of those things into account if they are doable by us. In some cases, there's things that relate to the city, the sidewalk, those kinds of things, we can't do that. But I also asked Mr. Tregelap, since we know that there are buildings that we haven't done something in yet, does that mean you're going to go through them with as much detail? He said no. He took that into account, that there will be those, and we will go and look at those, but not nearly at the level. One of the, as far as the different company, this is the same company we used in 2015 to do our update for the buildings. He has a much more common sense approach to the study of the buildings. It's not quite as black and white as the first company. There are things that can be taken care of in an easier way than completely ripping something out. There are modifications that could be made. Those are the kind of things that we will get on this, the data matrix that he performed for us. So
What's nice too is part of this plan is that an actual workable, usable data matrix, as Jim just said, will be given to the district so we can make changes to it as we go. It's actually a fillable form, so we can make modifications, and it's not just going to be like individual plans as a part of it. It can be all integrated and updated as one, so we can continue to do the updating ourselves.
What's Mark's background?
Therapeutic recreation. He worked originally in special rec districts and then saw this as a need, because there was only one or two out there that really had the training to go do these audits, and he has found a nice little niche.
Okay, any further questions? Shall I call the roll?
Tillman.
Aye.
Gray.
Aye.
Riley.
Aye.
Dorsey, absent. Callahan.
No. Motion carries. I would move on to the next item of business, which is the first reading of the operation agreement between Batavia Park District and the Batavia Historical Society.
Yes. Jennifer Putzier is, as you know, is our director of the Depot Museum, and she would like to present some of the changes to both of these agreements to the board.
So yeah, what you have before you are two drafts of proposed operating agreements. That is an update from one that was first done in 1997. So it is long overdue. And what you have actually better reflects our current operating procedures, and in ways that it does differ. It actually streamlines operations, gives us a professional platform, and just kind of gives us a good ability to move forward on other projects. So the first one on the docket is the operating agreement. It's the longer one. There are a couple major changes in here. I'm not sure how in-depth you want me to go.
You can give an overview.
Okay. The operating agreement just basically tells how the relationship between the Park District and the Historical Society works. So things like who's running the gift shop, who manages the volunteers, How the loan agreement will work, which is a separate agreement, things like that are in there. Some major changes to this one from prior operating agreements. It sort of clearly spells out that exhibits are the intellectual property of the Park District because you pay the staff, therefore it's their work that they're doing for the Park District. So that's a change. Volunteers are now considered, if this goes through, volunteers of the Park District, which will help with our FDRMA insurance, so we do background checks and all that good stuff to be above board. In this agreement, we are recommending that the gift shop, control of the gift shop, does transfer to the Park District. Currently, Park District staff is managing it, so we'd like to see some of the benefits and be able to have greater control over things that are in there. And one of the last big changes, oh, I got ahead of myself. Those are the three major changes, and then of course it has nice insurance information that FDRMA would like us to put in there about indemnification and things like that. So, any questions on that?
And the big part with the gift shop right now, the Park District staff orders all of the items for the gift shop and then gets reimbursed by the Historical Society. This way, we can actually charge tax, we can use our rec track system with inventory control. We have a lot more systems and processes we can put in place. Right now, the tax isn't being taken out of the gift shop with the Historical Society. Volunteers selling items, they don't accept charge cards, so it makes it very cumbersome for people to purchase things. So this way, it would be a much easier transition.
Okay. Next one is the loan agreement.
Yeah, the loan agreement, because the items are such a big part of it, I felt it was important to separate that out to specifically talk about how the loan of the objects will work with the Historical Society. So it talks about, insurance and how we treat them and things like that.
Okay. So since this is the first reading, we'll bring them back for our second reading next month. So I need board, if you have any comments or questions, please get those to Allison.
And actually, the Historical Society has mentioned that they would like to approve this at their September, is it 15th?
They're going to have 4 board members, and so they really, in September, and so they really want to try to get it done before that happens this time. So
I may be volleying this back to you with any changes that they may have and asking, so there's going to be some negotiating back and forth prior to next.
But for us to approve in September?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ideally, yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and if you further reading have any questions, my door is open. We may follow the depot.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Nice job, Jen.
Okay, next on my agenda is executive session. So I would entertain a motion to enter executive session for leasing, property, and land acquisition 2C5 under the Illinois Open Meetings Act.
So moved.
Motion by Tillman, second by Gray. Shall I please call the roll?
Tillman.
Aye.
Gray. Aye. Riley.
Aye.
Dorsey. Absent. Callahan.
Aye, so we're going into executive session, and we do not have any action items to come before us after executive session, so I want to thank you for joining us this evening, and we will see you in September. Thank you.
Done.
Great.